power better than petrol power around cities and towns. This is the Segway E300SE. It's a launch edition performance, accelerates to 30 miles an hour in 2.9 seconds. But if you put this up against the Yamaha RayZR, which one works out cheaper over 3 years? This is a really good scooter, but does it work out better? I'm going to review this. I'm going to review the Yamaha RayZR. I'm going to compare the two, and in this video I'll just check which one works out cheaper on paper. Then we'll review the Yamaha RayZR. So let's jump on board. As I say, this has got 3 batteries, £4,888. Get the price out of the way straight away. My real thought process here is it better off? Let's put hill hold control on. There you go. Nice. My thought is this going to be better to buy and more like just economical to run and cheaper overall over 3 years than getting the Yamaha RayZR, which to me is a budget sweet scooter. Anyway, let's get going. So, jumping on board this for the first time, I saw it said performance on there. It's smooth, it's silent, it's pretty much the ideal use for an electric. Go on, sir. No worries. It's very loud when it's got signals on and stuff like that. It does like making a noise. And I've been using this just as like a little commuter tool. Overall, the engine is really smooth, easy to ride. I think anyone could jump on this, even with no experience, to just ride around the city. Mode 3 has some energy recovery, and you can see the green light comes up there because the engine braking is on, recovering a little bit of battery percentage. Mode 2 is more of a cruising mode, so you might be able to tell there is no energy recovery going on there, and it just lets me cruise and freewheel. I'm not going to accelerate in town at the boost capacity, but when you twist the throttle fully in mode 2 and 3, it activates the boost mode, and that can be active for 15 seconds and get you to 30 miles an hour in 2.9 seconds. And I've got to tell you, this thing is rapid off the line. Let's get to 20 really quickly here. Oh, it's very eager. It's sharp off the line. I think you can surprise any motorcycles and cars off the line, really. Of course, so for instance, this cyclist doesn't know I'm here until I silently whoosh past. In terms of range, you can see on the LCD dash, it's pretty simple. It just says 55 miles, and oh, just got to 56 miles, eh? With no energy recovery on. Interesting. With 3 batteries, it says that the maximum range you can get is 75 miles. Now that is naturally going to be if you're taking it steady and you're not boosting around everywhere. But that boost does come in quite nicely. As you see, there's a little roundabout up here. I can boost onto the roundabout and take everyone by surprise. I'm also naturally going to do a 0 to 70 test. You might have seen a little quick snippet of that already, but I'm going to accelerate up to 70 and just see what I can do. Overall, the engine and the rear hub mounted motor is pretty impressive here. It's got 13 brake horsepower, 200 newton meters of torque, and that really is... Go on, off you go. That really is impressive for a little scooter that's 130 kilograms or thereabouts. Price wise, with this phone holder, which I don't really trust my phone in because I just don't want it to go flying off, £4,888, that's with the 3 batteries. If you just get the scooter with 2, you're looking at £3,999. Overall, price wise, it's up there. It is pricey, but you know, is it better than just getting the RayZR? I'll get onto that in a minute. So let's talk about recharging real quick as I come up to a stoplight, and I'm going to do some filtering because this is pretty much what a little scooter is perfect for. Just tucking into the middle here, gentle 20 miles an hour, surprise the drivers who never know you're there and they're just slowly merging into the middle of the road. So with recharging 1 battery, that's 3 hours. With 2 batteries, it's 5.5. With 3 batteries, I'd imagine it's going to be about 7 hours of charging. The charging can be done on board, and you just plug in the little battery pack that comes with it, and it just goes under the seat. And there's a little flick up switch here that you just plug it in, nice and easy. If you're looking to remotely charge the batteries, you can do that, but I think it's just going to be an absolute nightmare because the batteries are huge. You've got 2 that are quite difficult to, well, not difficult, but it's just a bit fiddly to get access to under the seat. And when you've got 3 batteries and the battery pack with a 3 pin, you've got 4 things to carry there. And you do get a little bucket that you can put underneath the seat to hold 17 litres worth of stuff. Or if you've just got 2 batteries, you've just got a 35 litre cavern that might be able to squeeze a medium lid in there. I find it difficult to see how you're going to run to the office with your 4 things and your work bag and all that stuff to then say, right, I'm going to stick everything on charge here. Also, the battery pack is really loud. It's got a little fan, so when it gets to a certain temperature, the battery pack starts whirring away, and you don't want to be having that in your office because it's just going to be really distracting. So charging wise, it's just the standard electric really. You know, once you figure out how you're going to charge it at home, and once you figure out how you're going to do all the fun bits. Anyway, let's talk about the suspension and brakes. Now, you've got a telescopic fork up front. At the rear, you've got a rear shock with piggyback suspension. You've got 12-inch little tiny wheels and J1 brakes, which are disc front and rear with dual channel ABS. Now, ultimately, that is pretty good spec. But with me on the scooter, I'm about 15 stone, 6'3". It is a little bit too firm, if you know what I mean. I preload the suspension quite a bit, maybe about 15 stone worth of preload. And it's going to go green here in a second. Off the line, look at this. Boost mode active, I'm at 30. Instant, look at that. Can someone time that? Was that 2.9 seconds? Anyway, in terms of the brakes and suspension, they're pretty okay. I mean, if you're riding around with blue, which is just your standard 125 equivalent, 30 to 60, pretty good. I mean, I'm not going to accelerate into the back of a Range Rover. If you're riding around and you're just cruising, the brakes are fine. If you're riding around with boost mode all the time and you're hoping to stop as quick as you accelerate, the brakes just don't feel good enough. And that's because, naturally, you've only got 12-inch wheels, so the caliper can only be so big, and it's just not as good as you want it to be. But if you're riding around in blue mode, which is sort of mode 2, the cruiser mode, or mode 3 with some engine braking attached on top, the braking's alright. You know, it's not too bad, but you kind of want more. I'm just going to quickly pull over here and I'll just quickly demonstrate the app and the way that the phone integrates to that. So just bear with me 1 second and I'll get there. Oh, and whilst I'm here, with the thing blinking, if you hold the cruise control, you see R comes up, and then you can twist the throttle and reverse. It's good that it's throttle controlled and not just on the button, because that naturally means that you can control the rate that you go backwards. If you put it in A mode, which is all the way on the left bit here, this is assisted power mode, so it's kind of walking mode, and that's quite nice as well if you're just walking slowly or parking slowly, just nifty to have. Also, cruise control button naturally just works for cruise control. When I first got the bike, I set up the Bluetooth with the bike. You just basically hold that, it searches Bluetooth, you're away basically. On here, as you can see, you've got quite a few options. Airlock, weak network signal, that's not great, is it? Not great to show you how this works. Anyway, airlock basically means you don't need the key. Google, it's always got GPS, you've got the dashboard and device info. It says 5G full. Probably shouldn't show you that. Device info not needed. Right, then here you've got some information in terms of pairing up to the scooter. What information have you got? This ride I've done 4.7 miles, max speed, average speed, ride duration. When I've got signal, it tells me where I am with the Google GPS location. It's also got an alarm, and you can go into here with more functions, and you can change the lighting effect, sound effect, passcode, security. Ultimately, this display and this app is really, really smart, and I really like it. So if you were to put it into this mode, stick your phone up here, this is going to show you far more than this does. When you plug the batteries in, this will tell you how long it's going to take to charge, what sort of range you've got remaining. This doesn't tell you anything, and if you haven't got the key in, the screen just stays black. It still connects to the app, but it just stays black and it doesn't show you anything. So that could be a little bit better, but ultimately the app is really good. The fact it can connect to your phone and show you all of this information, give you that customization option, is really nice. But this LCD dash just doesn't do anything. So maybe get the phone holder, and if you're happy to have your phone in here when you're riding around the city, then you can do that. Next up, I'm going to do a 0 to 70. Look at that. Now this is probably the most fun scooter I've ridden. So put it in 2. No, let's put it in 3, ferocious mode. Yeah, good fun. It just accelerates so quickly. Right. Speed mode on. We're indicating left. Let's go from a stop, which I'm going to have to do anyway. Right, so I'm going onto that dual carriageway. Go. Boost mode runs out after 15 seconds. And it gives you, see there, the P is depleting. A 0 to 70. And then it runs out of boost. And that's 0 to 70. There we go. Happy days. So this will happily sit here and cruise at 70 miles an hour, but because it's so light and little with 12-inch wheels, any tiny movement, ooh, it really does send that through the bars and you feel it. So keep it nice and controlled, nice and steady. You're never going to break the 70 miles an hour speed limit by much, because this is an indicator speed. It's not actually doing 71, it's probably doing about 69 maybe. I will just say that I do not feel cool on this whatsoever. I don't really like the style too much. It just looks like every other electric scooter. And no, that's fine. It's just not, it's not my style. But are you buying this for the style? Probably not. I really don't think so. This is also going to be a good example in power free mode. If I really rapidly slow up at this next roundabout, I'm going to take a left so I can go at a more steady speed to talk to you. I'll show you what the brakes are like, because when you're hard on the brake, why is this person going so slowly? I'm trying to do a test here, sir. Why? Do you really think I'm going to overtake you on this one? Well, unfortunately, I'm not going to hammer on the brakes. There's no one really behind me. But the braking power, that's pretty much a full pull of the brakes. It doesn't really, unless you really hammer them on, but I'm not about to do an emergency stop. So the braking power could be better, but it's only a 125 and it's only got 12-inch wheels. Yeah, so it's pretty fun. I mean, boost mode is great, and it's got the technology there. Pretty smart, really. And that is positive points over the Yamaha RayZR. But this is going to be now, from my brief calculations, I was looking at the average cost over 3 years if you've got a Segway E300SE or a Yamaha RayZR. Now, as I said, the Segway on this occasion for the free battery model is going to be £4,888. The Yamaha RayZR is like £2,301. And I worked out that over 3 years, if you do say 3,000 miles a year, that's going to be about £150 on this Segway. The Yamaha RayZR is going to cost you about £375 roughly. I'm not considering your wheels, your tax, your insurance. I'm not thinking about any of that, just purely the running costs, and I guess obviously oils and stuff for the Yamaha. But ultimately, when you add that onto the purchase price, you're looking at about, say, £5,000 for the Segway and £2,600 for the Yamaha RayZR, and that's over 3 years. Think about the warranties and the resale value. You can add in quite a lot of elements there. But ultimately, though this is really quick, I think that you'll probably be better off just buying Yamaha RayZR at this point. That's until the battery power gets better and the technology becomes cheaper and you can acquire a Segway for a cheaper price. Now, some of you might be screaming in the comments saying, why don't you compare the £3,999 model? The range on that is 50 miles, so you can do your own calculations there with the average electricity kilowatt per hour bit. I will throw in a few bits about the Yamaha RayZR if you're wondering about that. The review's going to be on the channel next week, so check on the channel now if you're watching this in the future. But if you're watching this live, as in uploaded on Friday hopefully, then the Yamaha RayZR has power assist. It's got start and stop. It weighs 99 kilograms. It's got 8 brake horsepower. So compare that against the Segway. You've got a few little comparisons to look at. I mean, the weight of this is actually quite light, 130-ish kilograms. But you're not going to beat that Yamaha RayZR in weight, because that's 99 kilograms. That's crazy. So a quick shout out goes to Lexham Insurance. If you're looking for a motorcycle or scooter quote, or even an electric scooter that you've got yourself a Segway, then give them a call, give them a try online. Get a quote today. Thank you very much to Lexham. So this has been the Segway E300SE. If you're looking for a scooter that's packed with technology and with 3 batteries and the outrageous boost potential that this thing has, it's incredible. When you face it up against the RayZR over maybe a 3-year cost of ownership, I worked it out, I don't think you're going to be, considering the purchase price, better off buying one of these compared to a RayZR. But I'm going to be riding that RayZR for me tomorrow, for you next week, so stay tuned to see what I think about that. All in, this thing is packed with technology once you've got the app connected, and it's an impressive scooter off the line, so really enjoyed it. But it's just that purchase price and the faff of recharging. But in any case, thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think. Ciao, and I'll see you in the next one.